Welcome to the panel where founders talk about building a better business and a better life. I'm Justin Jackson, co-founder of Transistor.fm.
And I'm Brian Castle, founder of Builder Methods.
And I am Jordan Gall, co-founder at HeyRosie.com. And I'm hosting today.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a challenge for me because I'm also hosting my house by myself with my wife out of town. And I'm getting a call from one of my kids' friends' mom. It's going to be chaos, but we're going to get through it. All right.
That's what people want to see, by the way. That real life stuff.
That sounds like good content.
That's actually one of my favorite Bootstrapped Web episodes was, I think it was you, Jordan. One of your kids came in and Brian just let the recording run and it was just you talking to your kid. I was like, yes. Breaking the fourth wall. Like, I want to hear the real life stuff.
I'm trying to text back Lou's mom right now while you're talking to see if everything is okay because they're at their house.
Yeah.
They want to do a lemonade stand in my house, but I can't help them bring the lemonade stand out to the sidewalk. There's a lot going on. And I don't know about you guys. I am fried from the last few weeks. I'm fried.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking a lot of experience, basically from college graduation, aka from the moment of like adult responsibility, all of those lessons up until now, to just keep my act together.
Wow.
And get through whatever storm is happening around me, to just keep it rolling in the right direction. That's been my internal conversation for like 2 weeks is relax. Relax. You've got it. You've done this before, one thing at a time.
Is this is there anything specific like that changed recently, or is this just like general, like this is how this business is going this year?
I think I mentioned a few weeks ago that there's this very strange effect that I get, that the better the business does, the closer it feels like I'm getting to like this, like these like goals, the more the pressure feels ramped up. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big part of it. I think I pay way too much attention to like, you know, international affairs and my family's in Israel. It's just kind of never leaves my mind. And that side of the world is absolute chaos, you know, chaos. So like that in the mix. And then I got some family stuff going on over the last few weeks. That's not easy. And I think I mentioned also, I have been more willing to share my frustration with people and like to be very, you know, blunt with people. And I can't avoid it. Mm-hmm. It keeps happening. I keep being put into these situations where I'm like, I can either, you know, take this and not react very emotionally, or I can just let them have it. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the let them have it mode. So this week it just happened over and over again. I'm like, I get to the desk. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have a nice chill day. Look at my calendar. I'm like, I got one call. I'm just gonna be productive. Me and Claude are gonna be hanging out, knocking things out. And then like that one call is like with our ad agency, and I'm like, guys, why aren't we spending as much as I want to spend? Like the beginning of June, we didn't grow as much as we normally grow. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking around. I'm like, is it a churn thing? Okay, churn's a little bit higher, but no. Really, what it came down to after I did all this analysis was we're not spending our budget. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm. If we grow based on ad spend, then you got to spend a certain amount if you want to expect a certain amount of growth. So you set that as the budget, and then I look at the actuals 10 days in, and I'm like, we're on track to underspend by like 30%. Mm-hmm. So in June, all of my frustration and angst and what's going on, where's the growth, basically came down to I wasn't spending enough money. And in business, not spending enough money cannot be the problem.
Yeah.
That's the easiest part of business, spending money. So I, you know, screwed me up for a day or two. And it's funny because it has this like mirror image of it, right? I get frustrated. I put my foot down. I'm like, fix this immediately. I'm done. I don't care about how slowly you want to ramp up budgets to be aware of the algorithm. I'm like, put the damn budgets up today when we hang up, period.
Yeah.
And then like the same day, signups go back to normal. And I'm like, God damn it. So this is a topic I think I want to talk about, Brian, that you brought up around taking control of your funnel. You are in control.
Yes.
All this other stuff happening out there, these other people that you work with, these agencies, this thing, the SEO, like, no, I refuse that. I'm in control of the goddamn funnel. I decide what's on the page. I can make the changes to the pricing page. I can change the button. Just be decisive and take freaking control of the damn funnel.
I like it.
There's my
I like it.
There is a lot there. I keep thinking about how I think AI has fundamentally changed a lot of narratives, not just because of AI, but because AI forced all of these issues to the surface, you know? And, you know, in the past, I've talked about how John and I my business partner and I need to go on a founder retreat because it was just like all of a sudden, ostensibly because of AI, but really because it's just all came to the surface, and you have to answer these questions. You have to confront these truths in this environment because it is changing. Things are happening. And I think I've also felt this impulse to confront more things. And I think part of it is just like you just see everything so much more clearly. Both what's your responsibility and also just like where are we missing the boat? Where are we not hitting the bar? And yeah, it's an interesting time. And I think to be empathetic for a sec for everybody, including like people on our teams and other folks in the industry, I think everybody's feeling a version of this, which is on the business owner side, we feel this like, here's the bar. Why are we not hitting this bar? We got to confront this. Or here's a frustration. Why I've got to deal with this. This has been 2 years in the making. We just need to confront this thing and speak it openly and plainly. But I think also I'm just seeing so many folks who are employees and people looking for work and new students and people just graduating. I'm feeling, I think everybody has a version of anxiety and overwhelm that, and a lot of it has been, the catalyst was AI. It's not directly attributed to AI, but the catalyst was AI.
It does seem like, as an observer of both of you and your businesses this year, it's interesting. Like I'm noticing. I think it's coming out here today. Like the, it seems like you both have been going through this journey this year of like, look, as the leader, like I'm just gonna put words in both of your mouths for a second. Like as the leader, I'm sort of frustrated with the state of things. I think we should be performing better or differently in some way. And it's on you to bring about that change with everyone around you. And I could hear that frustration, like going back months, you know, Justin, to like the retreat and the fallout from that, and you know, Jordan and all the growth and everything. And like, I mean, I also experienced a similar thing, but it's very different because I'm solo in this, and then to me, like all the same types of frustrations come back internally. You know, and then I put that pressure that you're expressing comes, like I put it back onto myself, and I take a look at the systems, right? So like the things that I get, because I you know, talking about funnels, I was saying before we started recording that like I'm turning my focus now to the funnels and the mechanics of not only who, like I talked earlier about who the target customer is. But now I really, because like certain things are not performing the way that they were performing just a few weeks or months ago, and I'm doing some of the very same things, and some parts of the funnels are actually performing the way that they've always performed, but then the next step there's some sort of breakdown. So it's like diagnosing that, and then seeing how that, then turning that into like what does that mean for my to-do list? Which part of the funnel, which assets, which processes, which tooling, which agents, which strategy do I need to focus on today or tomorrow? And then what comes after that, and then after that, and then like some of that involves like things that I need to deliver, like whether it's recording a video or choosing the right idea to talk about, or choosing the right way to build a system that makes me deliver something faster. Like I don't have a team member to get frustrated at. It's like, to me, it's like I need to ship this thing by Friday so that my funnel can get fixed, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's ultimately any frustration that I have as a business owner is ultimately a frustration with myself.
Yes.
It's hello, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. That's the thing. But I think where it maybe differs for Jordan and I is that, yeah, when you have people you're working with, then you have to then communicate that. And I think it can sometimes even be like, it's like if you've been holding off on confronting this, like, it's me. I've got to make a decision here. It's ultimately, it's up to me. No one's coming to save me. Nobody, the ghost of Steve Jobs is not going to come and like tell me what to do. I've just got to make the decisions, and I've got to get crystal clear. I think this is what AI really catalyzed for a lot of people. Is like, fuck all this other stuff. We've been wasting time. We've been concerning ourselves with these things. We've been pursuing these things. It just makes it crystal clear. What do we need to build? What do people want? Where is the customer demand? And how are we going to address that demand? And not just like the second or third or fourth thing on their list, but the number one thing on their list. And it just crystallizes everything.
Yeah, and quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a we think of features as pebbles, rocks, and boulders, right? Pretty like classic, small, medium, large type of thing. And we have trouble because we are constantly focused on the boulders. So we'll go through like a boulder wave because this big thing feels like it moves the business forward. And people, even if people don't want it, because they don't even know that we're working on it, we want it. And it's difficult to get to the pebbles and the rocks in between. So we go a little like seesaw, like, okay, so, Rock's working on a boulder. Let's make sure Andrew is not also working on a boulder so that we're not releasing anything for 2 weeks. Like, we need some bounce in that to keep the momentum going forward.
Yeah, that seesaw analogy always hits for me because it's like I'm always going between like marketing and product. And but like for me, really most of my work is marketing. All the content, all the YouTube, all like that's, I'd say really 80+% of what I do is marketing, and then having something of value to give on Builder Methods Pro. But that always feels a few steps behind. Like I have demand for certain courses or certain benefits, but I need to keep the funnel going. Like something like tangible this week. I've been talking about this with the video editing. Like this past week, I feel like I'm starting to turn a corner, but it's still a slow ship to bring this all online. But my last 2 videos, which I published on I think Tuesday and Thursday of this week, which is a first in a while. I've only been publishing once every 1 or 2 weeks. Now I got 2 videos out this week. Both of them I recorded less than 24 hours from the time that they published. Both of them were 100% edited with Claude Code. And I feel like it's a breakthrough, especially this most recent one. It still takes a few hours to process it with Claude Code, and I'm still tinkering in like under the hood, the skills and stuff that I'm using to edit videos. But it does actually mean that, like, literally I spent like on the video that I published on Claude Fable on Thursday, I recorded that on Wednesday, and I spent about 2 hours. Yeah, like I spent about 2 hours like using AI to help me finish the script, and then like another so probably 3 hours total from like script to recorded, and then like a few hours in the afternoon for Claude to do its thing while I'm working on other projects to get it into a finished state and scheduled to publish in the morning. And that to me is a pretty huge breakthrough because again, it's like now I have this. I mean, I literally just cut that time to publish down from like 4 to 7 days often down to like a 24-hour period. So now it's a matter of like, okay, I have my production process figured out again. I took 3 weeks to retool it. Now the rest of the funnel, I need to turn my focus to email conversion, paid conversion, and the funnel and like the mechanics that take a person in.
It makes sense that you're not focused on the funnel as soon as you get the top of the funnel process a little more efficient. Okay, I want to say something about Fable and then ask you to react to it. My take on Fable right now, outside of the tech, you're not going to get a good take from me on the tech, is that it's the first time we've encountered an unaffordable AI. And what that does is it changes the way we think of how to use it.
Yes.
And it's the first departure from this extremely egalitarian environment of Microsoft and Rosie have the same tools and the same intelligence and the same capability. And isn't that awesome? Cool story. Fable comes along, and I think it is the first time we depart from that extremely even playing ground. And now we're going to go back to the very classic dynamic of if you have more money, you have an advantage. And what I'm worried about is that an advantage in we can hire 100 people, we all know can be an advantage, but it's not a straightforward advantage because there's so much complication that goes with it. But if this intelligence just continues to get better and better and better, the ability to create advantage based off of just resources, just more money, being able to spend more on intelligence, I think it's really scary for small companies because it hasn't been that way.
Yeah.
So that when I look at Fable, that's my sense. So what do you
Justin,
think?
you want?
Well, I'm just wondering. I know it's expensive, and right now we don't really have. I haven't actually played with it, and it's only
June 22nd. It becomes API only.
Got it.
Is my understanding. Right now, have at it. If you have a max plan, have at it right now.
I have had multiple conversations with people saying I'm going to go super hard on some really big features and refactors and that sort of thing, so that I can get it under the wire before it costs me a different.
How expensive will it be comparative to other things?
Like 100x. Like 100x.
Yeah, but how expensive will it be compared to hiring an engineer to do that kind of work?
But I think that's fair to say, hey, if you could build this feature for $2,000, would you do it? Yes. But what I'm saying is we have not had to make that calculation up until now.
See, this is where I think I half agree with you. Yeah, I think you might be totally right in the long run, in terms of like the split. One part that I think is definitely going to become clear after June 22nd is like one actual difference in my workflow, and I think many people's workflow is now I'm going to be much more conscious of, or selective of which model am I using for which tasks. Up until now, I have been, look, I've got a Cloud Max plan, throw everything on Opus. I don't care. Right?
Yeah.
And wherever I can use Opus, just like I don't touch Sonnet anymore. I don't, and I've got a couple Hermes things that are using ChatGPT 5.5, whatever. But like the main workhorse for me day to day, Opus, everything, right? But now with Fable, it will definitely be a decision. It's not going to be just use Fable on everything because I have this Max plan and I can't use the Max plan on Fable, right? So it is going to be a selection. I'm guessing maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times a month. I'm going to have a day where I've got something big that I want to build, and I'll be willing to spend whatever for the day on some API for Fable to crack open this like big V1 of a big project or something like that, or a big refactor, right? But the day-to-day stuff, I'm still going to stick to Opus as my daily driver, right? And so that's going to become a muscle in my workflow to choose, to toggle between the two. Like, is it worth paying a little bit extra to have the nice meal once in a while, or is my daily driver just fine for most things? I think that's going to be a thing.
Can I ask a question about these harnesses? Like, have the harnesses aren't telling you, like, hey, that prompt should really go to this model yet, right?
No.
That does seem funny to me that they don't do that. Like, the joke I saw online somewhere was like, someone's like, me using all my Fable credits to change the color of a button, you know?
Right.
And I think it's weird to me on the orchestration level that Claude wouldn't be saying, Justin, that prompt would really be better served by Haiku or whatever than the way you're using it. Like, you can having more intelligence in terms of like what prompts I should assign to what model.
See, I think thinking on like prompt by prompt, that's way too granular in my opinion.
I think like task or project.
Yeah, it's more project based. Like, is this huge? Then today we're gonna spend on some Fable.
So if you were gonna build a brand new app,
just keep it on Opus. That's my thinking on it.
So if you're gonna build a brand new web app today, you would use Fable?
Probably, yeah. But like what I mean is like the V1 of that. So now when I do a V1 of a big project, of a big app, I have, this is the other point I want to make about this, and this is where I think we can still consolidate and level the playing field. Even like, yes, the Microsofts can spend on Fable all day long, but we still have what I think the big breakthrough, not the big breakthrough, but like, okay, Fable is very, very good, right? I did build a big extension of one of my apps with it the other day. It's very, very good, but it's really, to me, at least my first impression of it during week one, I wouldn't call it like game changing, because Opus 4.8 is still freaking good.
Yeah.
You know, so what I mean by that is, yes, it probably makes a lot fewer errors, but Opus 4.8 rarely makes errors either. So anytime it is, you get a unsatisfactory result out of Fable or Opus, we're past the phase where it's like, oh, the model made a mistake or the model hallucinated. I think we're beyond that now in the coding world, in my opinion. It's more about, we didn't spec it out right. We didn't do the initial planning. The inputs that we as engineers, architects, designers, product people, we did not do the extra legwork to get to a fully thought out and fully spec'd out PRD. And if you don't do that work up front, it's gonna build the wrong thing because you told it to build, or you left out gaps. And if you start to learn the workflows to get it to ask you and grill you on getting those specifics right up front, then now I can trust that like this thing is gonna knock it out near perfectly. It's not gonna just make mistakes as long as it has the right input. So that's something that we can still control as any level of business, right? And so then again, it's like that was totally the case with Opus, just as it is with Fable. Just Fable is a little bit more. With Fable, I can be a little bit more ambitious. I can, if a typical V1 app, I would normally break it out into like 3 or 4 buildable milestones, and that'll take me a day to knock through them. With Opus, I can maybe build it out in like 1 big milestone with Fable.
Okay.
You know, and so it saves me a couple hours. You know.
Yeah, I could see a world where there's just a separation of work, and the harder work gets done by the more expensive models, and the more straightforward stuff gets done by cheaper models. And yeah, but someone running a funded company, I really have not thought about AI costs very much, because it's so, straightforwardly worth it.
Yeah.
And reasonable, that you're like, don't, limit yourself because of budget. Like, we're paying you a salary many times more than your Claude subscription. If you need an extra this plan or an extra $300, like whatever, go for it. But this is the first time where Rock was like, just so you know, this thing I did over the last 3 days would have cost like $4,000 in Fable. Like we officially now need to, add it into our calculations.
It has to be like a thing that you look at.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think your fear about like the overall cost and the comparison will become very real if and when these subsidized subscriptions go away, and you have to think that at some point they are going to go away, or they're going to be adjusted. This party is already slowing down. Like
I'm of two
Fable
minds.
I don't know about that.
I'm of two minds about this, because I think on one hand it seems inevitable that we are being subsidized right now. Like the $200 Claude Max subscription, that's been the general consensus, is that people are actually getting about $6,000 worth of value out of that for $200, and clearly that might not exist forever, but it's very difficult to know where this is going to go. There's a Wall Street Journal article where it says OpenAI is considering drastic price cuts, anticipating war for users with Anthropic. So it could go anywhere, right? It could be, we could be in it might be, sure, it might get more expensive. It might also get less expensive in the
I wonder about that. I haven't dug into the specifics of but if we are going to be getting into price wars, and what they're talking about is like not adjusting the price of subscriptions, they're talking about lowering the price of the tokens, like the unit price, right? Which is really interesting. But I wonder if that is, again, a sign that these companies are trying to wean us off of the subsidized subscriptions and get into the habit of like, we're all just paying a meter now. And, and that is where it's going to get real between if you can meter Fable all day long, or you're a smaller company and you can't, then the discrepancy is real.
I mean, and I think it's going to continue to disrupt each other. The other thing, like, there's so many other things that could disrupt this. Like, for example, all of the new Macs might eventually have a bunch of onboard AI stuff that makes it all cheaper. And they just say, we automatically figure out, what you need to do, and we'll send it off. Who did they do a deal with? They did a deal with Google or something. They'll send it off if they need to, but they'll do a lot of things on device if they can. And so there's other things that could make it cheaper, right? Like more on device stuff, more cheaper Chinese models. It's hard to know.
You guys are setting me up for a really nice transition into the SpaceX IPO here. Well, let's move that, because it is related. I think everything we're talking about is like capitalism 101. Competition, innovation, price dynamics, open source, all this stuff is happening. Wherever we currently sit, we should absolutely assume it's going to change rapidly from here. It's not just, Anthropic's the best, and we have no choice but to do this, and it's all in the cloud, and we can, it's like the underlying, right. Everything's moving very, very quickly, all the way up and down the stack. And on one end of the stack, we have a very interesting development, where it's economic, financial, it is political, social. SpaceX IPO just throws all of this all the way out front for everyone to comment on, think about, talk about. Like, we used to be jealous of millionaires, then we used to be jealous of billionaires, now we got a trillionaire to be envious of, okay? What do we think is going on? Right, the way this relates directly to AI costs is, at least one part of the big story around SpaceX is compute in space, to make compute much, much cheaper and abundant. Like, some of the things we've talked about on the pricing just now starts to sound like a commodity. Like, well, we just drill oil, and this is how much it costs per barrel, and everyone uses it, and there's a whole ecosystem around turning oil into energy, and that's how our economies run. Cool. The knowledge economy might end up running on intelligence that uses compute in a very similar way. So what do you guys think about SpaceX? First of all, I think it's so fun. I mean, a big exciting IPO for everyone to kind of yell about and comment on is awesome.
I saw the headlines, but I'm less read up on it as you guys are. But I have heard them talk about, like, the idea of like compute in space. Is that the big bet here with this? Like,
there are several big bets, but Justin, you want to talk about this one, because one of them is data centers in space.
There's actually a great piece on this I recommend folks read too. I think Evan Armstrong is an interesting commentator, and he's he does a really good job of saying, here's why SpaceX is ridiculous. Here's why you shouldn't give them your money. And then at the end, he said, but I'm going to give them my money anyway. And here's why. And it's because so much of what's in the prospectus for this IPO is ridiculous. The S1 documents are the most ridiculous.
Yeah, this slide here. Come on.
Chip manufacturing, large language models, global cell phone carrier, data centers in space, AI software company emulator, a base on the moon, an electromagnetic railgun on the moon, and colonizing Mars.
Just by the way, colonizing Mars.
Yeah, it's just one of our business lines.
So this is all ridiculous. There's so much silly in it, and yet, even if
like if one or two of these things hits,
then you guys certainly know I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. I've been a big critic of his, but I will give him credit. One thing he's very good at is figuring out the underlying fundamentals of a category that actually matter. He did this with rockets.
Yeah.
He did this with electric cars. And now a big part of this play is he's doing this with energy and data center costs, saying the biggest limiter of our usage of AI and everything else is the energy it takes to develop new models. But you could do that in space with unlimited solar energy and somehow bring things back down. I think the other thing Elon is good at, and again, I'm a big critic, but the other thing he's good at is he can inspire and attract some of the best people ever. And their ability to execute at a high level is quite incredible. Like what SpaceX accomplished in terms of rockets is...
Especially in the hard, like anything physical, they've been exceptional. Yeah. Software, questionable, but the right. Anything physical that he does is like
absolutely most difficult thing. Reusable rocketry.
Yeah. The place to be wary if you were going to invest, I think, and again, this show's not for investment purposes, it's entertainment only. The asterisk is that Elon likes to play high stakes poker, and he's been close to being out many times. There's nothing precluding him from getting out. He likes to play high stakes poker. He will bet it all. That's paid off for him so far. There's no guarantee it will continue, but a lot of people in the market are saying, well, we're going to bet with him.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like, what's his name? Is it Rob Barron? Right, people who've kind of bet their entire funds and careers and investments in general. It's really worked out for them. I am an Elon fan. We're just going to tiptoe around that, Justin, you and I.
We don't have to tiptoe around it. I think it's fine.
I'm kidding. Yeah, but I think this might be very relevant to us in the next few years if data center costs go down and hopefully some of the politics around them just kind of chills out and we get to a place where this is more abundant. Very interesting to see Anthropic doing a deal with XAI for compute. So hopefully this stuff just moves around. Look, we're not in control of what these huge companies and pools of capital, but we are benefiting significantly. So it's like a cheerleader type of a thing. I don't really know, right? No criticism of ours is going to change any of it. It's like what comes down our way in terms of models, capability, and costs, and how do we use that to our advantage as much as possible? That feels like the game from our point of view. Like, all right, given this reality right now with capability and cost, and what I see in the market on the other side, what can I do here? How much money do I need? How many resources do I need? How ambitious should I be? Which market should I go after? I think that starts to get into your, I don't know if it was before we started recording or not, Brian, where did you come across someone that asked you for advice recently? Or maybe it came out of the work that you were doing? Around video editing.
Well, actually, Justin, you mentioned that somebody wrote in.
We should shout out, because he's a longtime fan, Kevin Markham of dataschool.io, who's great. He just said, "Yeah, my jaw dropped fully open when Brian described his automated video editing workflow. I think that'd be an amazing SaaS product." And he said, "I would pay for it."
So my jaw dropped. I mean, I've been working on this, right? but I have been. To me, it has been a breakthrough because I've been looking into this for well over a year and trying every single tool, every single skill, how can I get Claude Code to actually do this, and never came close to being like, this actually removes the human touch points in the editing process.
Yeah.
And I only got there in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I think part of it is probably the power of most of it was Opus, but actually my latest video, I did use Fable to as the underlying model. That being said, I think I would have gotten the same results had I been using Opus because I think it follows the process of the skill, and it's using FFmpeg essentially. But I have very specific instructions built into the skill in Claude Code to get it to cut and edit every segment of my video. So you can look at my most recent video, like the one where I talk about Claude Fable. That video, 100% of it was processed and edited using, like, I dropped my raw footage into it. I made a few like I answered a few questions till I confirmed, like, yeah, that looks good, stitch it together and go. But it does everything from like it has multiple processes baked into it. Like, it analyzes my transcript and takes out the bad takes, removes all my sets up the picture-in-picture with my screen segments, and then it does a repass where it catches its own mistakes and it says like, oh actually we left a phrase fragment in there, let's cut that out. Like, all before I even need to go in and approve anything. So it's pretty freaking great. And when I talk about it to other video friends, people who are doing YouTube or whatever, like, yeah, I've had the question like, are you going to show this? Are you going to share it? Are you going to make this a product? And I know like Kevin is a good guy, and I know he has a very successful YouTube channel. I know he does some training, some like dev training and stuff. And so I'm sure I'll try to share stuff at some point. I don't know how relevant it is for my builder methods audience, so that makes me a little hesitant on like how much resources I'm going to put behind. Like, I'm not going to make a course around this because like most of my audience are not YouTubers, right? So there's that hesitation. In terms of like making it a SaaS, I mean, my initial gut reaction is just no. You know, like but that's not this. I'm just out of the SaaS game. Like, I've been of this mindset for well over a year now. I mean, I'm running Clarity Flow, of course, but I'm not looking to start a new SaaS. And a couple other friends have asked me for feedback on their SaaS idea that they're currently kicking around, right? You know, different things. And I try to be helpful, and I try to give my honest take on how do you go from this idea to some form of product market fit here in 2026. And it's not completely bleak. Like, for other people, I think a SaaS, if you want to do SaaS, I'm not saying don't do it. But if you're asking me, from where I sit, I just have a hard time committing the time and energy and investment into making that business model work as a bootstrapper from the ground up starting today. That's my kind of take on it, you know?
It is a bit bleak. Justin,
Yeah.
you run a SaaS. You make a living running a SaaS. You've been running a SaaS. And yet, if someone asked you today, where, you know, what's your response?
Yeah,
I have an idea. I want to do this thing. I want to charge, you know, traditional SaaS. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the idea. I've been thinking a lot about the hardest thing, meaning no matter what you pursue, it has to be the highest leverage idea for you. And I keep using this example of, in 2003, I started a snowboard shop, and 3 years later, I was $80,000 in debt. In 2003, the same number of people, 2 founders and 4 staff, started Skype, and 3 years later, each of the founders had $350 million in their bank account. Now that's a cherry-picked idea.
Sure.
But SaaS is just a delivery mechanism. Broadly, if I had to give an answer, there's so much money in SaaS still. But I think what Brian's experiencing is like the new challenge of our era, which is at the end of the day, to do something incredibly well and to have a chance of killing it in a category and being the best at that thing, you've got to dedicate yourself as much energy to that thing as you can. And that might allow somebody, like in my case, it might allow me to maybe go and try another idea alongside Transistor once something's running. But to get here, we're almost at 10 years of investment into Transistor now. You only have so much headspace. You only have so much time, energy, and I'm fully back on this idea of like all these indie hackers that are spreading themselves thin, launching a new thing every month, which I also did. Doesn't work. It's like the only way I think really to kill it in a category, except for a few outliers like Levels and Mark Liu. I think the challenge these days is you could have multiple good ideas. Like this video editing idea could be a great idea, but my guess is if Brian was going to pursue it, it would be 3 years.
It would have to become my thing.
Yeah.
Yep. But I want to give 2 optimistic takes on this.
Love it.
All right.
Yes.
I want to turn. All right.
This sounds like this is Brian's other thing was in defense of slop. Remember that one?
Defensive slop. Okay, so optimistic take number 1 is like if someone were to do this video as a SaaS idea,
yeah.
To me the way to do it would, and I'm speaking mostly to the bootstrapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not going out and raising VC to try to take on Descript or try to unseat like Adobe Premiere or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you are trying to build a solid self-funded business, the way that I would go about it, and I'm not doing this, but if I were to do that, I would treat it more like a tech-enabled service. And I do think that there is a ton of opportunity across a ton of different categories to do this. Like literally the way that I would offer this if I were to do it would be to take what I've built for myself and build processes to go to every other YouTuber and say, let me help you rethink how you edit your videos. And I'm gonna install and I'm gonna custom tailor the skills, the AI, the Claude Code skills for your particular YouTube channel, because that's the only way it works, honestly. Like my thing is not plug and play. Like if I just hand it over to you, Justin, it's not going to work for your channel. Like because you have different formatted content. You deliver content differently than I do.
Yeah.
So every YouTuber, even if you do talking head and screencast just like I do, you still do it differently. Everyone does it differently. So you would need to custom tailor it. You would need to make it a service powered by AI. Like and that can be a fantastic business, by the way, and it doesn't even have to be solo. You could just train a couple of human people to onboard customers. You can easily create a multiple 6-figure, 7-figure business out of that. No question in my mind. And you can do that across hundreds of different categories.
Yeah.
And then the other optimistic take, and this is where I get into the like I'm seeing a lot of members come into Builder Methods Pro, and this is where I'm actually very optimistic about SaaS specifically. If you're going to start a SaaS, or if let's say I were like investing in SaaS founders right now, I would probably not. I'm not as bullish on just the developer who's going to start to look around for random verticals that I can make a SaaS for. What I am bullish on is the guy or gal who has been deep embedded in this particular niche industry, knows it really well, has a super strong network, maybe even an audience, and they are just learning technical skills on how to build. They can build themselves a killer SaaS, and they already have the distribution and know-how in place, and they know the problem space better than any SaaS founder roaming around MicroConf is going to ever know it. So that those guys and gals are dangerous in my opinion, and they've I feel like our techie SaaS founder friends are not giving those people enough credit, because now that they have Fables and Opus at their disposal, they are dangerous. They like if they have a network, they can build. You know,
here's my it's skepticism, but I don't really disagree. So yes, SaaS as a business model, I think, has lost some of its attractiveness. And then at the same time, the second thing you said around builders building, people in the industry, running a software company is a weird, unique, niche thing. So maybe it's the combination. Just like I can't jump into an industry and have the deep expertise of someone in, I don't know, commercial real estate and the approval process on whatever. Someone in that industry needs to go through 5 years of pain to have a clue of where I am on running a software company. Because I went through those 5 years, and it's not free, that experience. It requires pain and mistakes and money and loss and, you know, the roller coaster. So it's not as straightforward as just the ability to build the right product. So maybe it's the combination of the two things, right? Maybe
I think there's no question you would be at a huge advantage over, you know, given your experience. So yes, new people coming into it who are just touching Claude Code for the first time now, they're going to be slower. They're going to stumble more. Yeah. But they have the one ingredient that 99% of new SaaS founders don't have, which is distribution and the distribution expertise. Part is I think is more difficult than just being in the industry. Right? I think that itself is getting into software experience. Like, but I also what think forms of distribution? How do you run an affiliate program? How do you run an ambassador program? How do you run ads? What does a funnel look like? How does a page convert? Like, this stuff, nobody knows. That hasn't been thinking about it. I just did a live session with Builder Methods Pro members yesterday. There are probably like 15, 17 people on the call. And it was so fascinating. I'm having such a great time on these calls because they are from all walks of life, different age groups, different varying levels of technical experience, completely different industries. A guy has and some of them like have YouTube channels, and some of them have really strong networks in their industry, and some of them really know. And what's interesting to me about these people is they are more technical than even they give themselves credit for. Okay. Yes, they've never coded anything, but they are extremely smart, competent, and actually quite technical. Like, they're more systems minded. They've built, they've built really complex businesses and operations, and some of them operate in pretty complex technical spaces. Yeah. You know,
and they were attracted to your content and to become a member. Like, you know, that is a self-selected group of people who have those attributes, and they're entrepreneurial and they're ambitious.
Well, like, the other thing that I noticed about these people is that they are very successful already. Like, they're coming into this, like one guy, he runs a personal injury law firm with 40 attorneys working under him. I'm like, why are you building? Don't you have to run this firm? He's like, yeah, but I'm kind of having a good time playing around with Claude Code all day, and I'm building all these products for lawyers right now.
Okay, I like it.
You know, and I'm like, and it's pretty amazing because literally he has all this insight into, like, that nobody would really know about the law space. And I was talking to him about, like, what's your distribution plan? He's like, oh, I'm just going to start funding some, like, LinkedIn ads on this thing. This thing's going to rock. You know, like these guys are unafraid to go spend a bunch of money, and they don't need funding. They don't need to hire a big firm for development, you know, but they're ready to go. Like, they know the insight that most people don't know. That's pretty exciting to me, to be honest.
That's awesome.
You know,
in the chat, I'm seeing different. So while Brian was talking, Zach was saying, I'm biased, but I 100% agree with this take. I think he was referring to Brian's take about
domain expertise.
These domain expertise being a more important feature moving forward. But then Tony followed up and said, Jordan is perfectly describing my relationship with my co-founder. And they have 3 co-founders. 2 of us are dev product. 1 is domain expert.
Strong.
It feels like there's parts of what you guys are saying are resonating with different folks in the chat. In some ways, none of this is new. Like, I remember going to the Laravel conference for the first time, and there was just like, I'd just walk around and go, yo, what's your story? And it would be like some guy from South Carolina. Is that a place? South Carolina. And he's like, well, I was working in the insurance industry forever, and we have this product we had to use and it sucked, and so I just thought, well, I'm going to try to learn how to code, and so I found Laravel and made it easy, so I built this thing, and now I've got a business that's doing $500K a year. I was like, holy crap, wow, good for you, man, that's great. So these, and there's I think another in the microconf space. Wasn't there a software for countertop installers or something?
Yeah, that's right.
Ted and Harry, sure.
Yeah, so I think a lot of this has already existed.
More aware.
Yeah. Pre-AI, so it would make sense. I agree with Brian that I think that the one thing that I've found is when you, like in podcasting, I'm a domain expert because I've been doing it forever, and intuitively being able to describe to Claude Code the UI and the UX that I want and that I can see in my head it's like collaborating with the perfect implementer. Like they are just like, it's like, hey, can you do this? Okay, oh no, that's not quite right. What I want is it to feel like this and to look like this. Oh, you mean more like this? You're getting closer. Let's try one more round, but you've got to reorder it this way. And that, I think, is a big unlock now. That the product people that always had to go through an intermediary can now get there themselves a lot faster. That is a thing. To Jordan's point, like, there's so much you need. And I think the one thing folks forget is that success in business has always been about stacking every advantage possible. And so if that means domain expertise, yeah. But if you've also built a software company before, that's also really going to help. And if you've got this and this and this, and ultimately none of it works unless you've highlighted, and this is where I think I'm going more and more now, is that the low-hanging fruit kind of ideas really have gone away. Like, now you have to choose something that is considerably more difficult to achieve than in the past, because the competition at stages 0 and 1 and 2 and 3 has increased tenfold. What very few people are willing to do is put in the effort over time to build something that's, level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up. I think those businesses, there's going to be more and more. The economy has always rewarded things that are difficult. Let's cross-reference the SpaceX IPO. Like, that is in part the economy rewarding something that's extremely difficult to do. So this is a difficult thing that has demand. We are going to say, yes, that is, they will get more economic rewards.
I want to kind of agree with Jordan a little bit on this aspect of it, which is like, because another thing that I'm observing with, especially from these folks who are non-technical, they've learned just enough to Claude code themselves an MVP or a V1, and they have it in the hands of customers, and they have the domain expertise and the network or the distribution to start getting this thing going off the ground, and it's going. But they do express frustration. I see this across the board with, okay, I've gone from 0 to 1. Going from 1 to 2 is going to require real technical expertise to make this thing real. Or that person just wants to focus more on like the sales side. So now they need a real technical co-founder or lead tech person. This is still a gap, I would say. But like, then it's a question of who, right? Because if you are an independent, like, freelancer, consultant, tech, like, developer looking for a job or a gig, these people are there to get hired from. But if you're a founder, if you're a developer who wants to be a founder, that's where I think it's a little, and you don't have like other industry expertise and knowledge or direct access to it, that's where I would say they're probably at a disadvantage over the law firm leader or the dental practice leader who knows that so deeply. But like there is going to need to be a connection made between these non-technical founders. There has always been this, but what I mean by the frustration that I'm hearing from those folks is that like when they do go out and hire a freelancer or try to partner up with someone, all of a sudden that new hire, yes, they are more technical, but they're like, this guy is just slowing me down. I was moving so much faster when it was just me.
I think that's the alchemy of a company, though. You need multiple things in order to succeed, between domain expertise, execution, marketing, all that. Sometimes one person has all of that. Sometimes it's two people together. Sometimes it's a group of people. What I like to think about objectively, when I look at my experience with Rosie, it doesn't really make any sense to me, because the previous companies in e-commerce, I brought domain expertise. And I was like, okay, I'm the non-technical founder that has the domain expertise on what e-commerce merchants want, because I used to be an e-commerce merchant myself. It wasn't for that long of a period of time, but an intense 2 years is still a lot of expertise. And I'm gonna put together a team that can build a product, develop the product, market the product, and I'm gonna bring the domain expertise. Right, it's like very similar to what we're talking right now. And then I look over Rosie, and there's no domain expertise.
Yeah.
It's absent from the equation.
Except that you had built software companies before and had developed these leadership skills, operator skills, distribution, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. So the only thing that was removed was domain expertise. Right. The product people and the talent in product and design and development and support, all that was ready. And it's almost like it didn't require domain expertise. I'm kind of puzzled by that. Maybe because it's so general. The whole approach was general. And maybe, to be honest, maybe that's why I shied away from committing to an individual vertical, because I didn't have expertise in an individual vertical. And so my gut said, actually, don't put all your eggs in a vertical basket. And just go horizontal. Do this thing for business owners, because that I do have domain expertise in.
I mean, I would say that more important than domain expertise is the ability to recognize the shape of good, strong demand. And so I think you had probably developed that skill. And this is why I think experienced folks, often people do start with products that are more domain expertise driven. But as they get into their Shark Tank years and their Dragon's Den years, they get to be more the people on the side going, this opportunity just has the shape and the feel of a good opportunity, and I've got enough expertise in just seeing what customer demand looks like that I think I could probably figure out the fundamentals of this pretty quick and invest in it, and I could bring that energy to the category. It's, again, similar to what Elon did with rockets. Elon walks into rockets. He doesn't really have any domain expertise. He's just looking at all the costs going, well, what about this? Why can't we go get this from the Russians? And it's like, well, no one's ever done that before. Well, what if I did that? That would cut $1 million off everything. So that was how he entered. But he had I think, maybe the foresight to go, this is the shape of a good opportunity. Maybe.
Let's finish up on a cool topic, a cool product. So over the last 24 hours, a new product has gone viral on Twitter.
Okay, I haven't heard about this.
Okay, so Brian, help me. I don't even know. Does it have a name?
Is this the Kickbacks. Andrew McCallop guy?
Kickbacks.ai.
Okay. So it's I really like this as an example of, you think all day, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Everything's been done. You're not going to come up with anything original. Let's be serious. Okay, but then every once in a while, an idea itself, just the little idea, is so good that it can just cut through the entire market at once. So Brian, you want to explain what does this thing do?
From what, and I'm only getting up to speed on it today.
Okay.
I think it only caught fire between yesterday
like
and
last
today,
night.
right?
Yeah, or this morning.
And part of me is like, I can't believe Anthropic doesn't just do this. I wonder if they will do this. Right? But from what I understand, the idea is it is a advertising marketplace embedded in Claude code, and it's built around when you're waiting for Claude to do its thing.
Yep.
And you see the little orange noodling or the orange simmering, like their, whatever verb they want to use there. Instead of seeing that, or maybe right next to it, you're going to see a one sentence advertisement with like a little like fave icon like logo.
That's right.
Next to it.
That's right.
Okay,
And-
this is brilliant.
Yeah, the marketplace.
But my
dynamic is interesting.
understanding of it is that every developer can just install the extension, and they get to earn 50%.
They keep
just from
50% of the ad revenue
That
themselves.
they're themselves, like just you using Claude Code, watching and waiting Claude Code to do its thing, you can be earning money because you're seeing a one sentence ad under your Claude Code.
Yep.
That's
Right.
Yeah, that's
right.
the
So it's
pitch.
like, right. What's the hard part about an ad network? It's the ad inventory. How do you bootstrap that network? Right. Ridiculous. And so what this does is it just says, well, there's an existing ad network of people right now. It's a bunch of developers with desktop software just sitting there, and there's one line in that piece of software UI that if you inject an ad right there, it's a never-ending, refreshing inventory of ad placements. Genius.
This is the Google search equivalent in AI. So Google figured out one of the best business models ever, which is to show sponsored results when people are searching. It made all of Google's products free or very low cost. This is absolutely going to be at least part of the model that makes AI cheap for people.
Yeah. Now, okay, just while we've been talking for like the last 2 minutes, there is a ticker on the homepage
Yes.
that says install the VS Code extension, and then there's a dollar amount per month.
Yes, that you can earn.
When we started talking, that was at $51 and change. It's at $58 and change just in the last 2 minutes, and it is going up.
Except mine says $53, so I don't know if this is actually real.
Well, one of the interesting
I
things
don't
is
know,
that this is
It just
this
starts
is
over again, yeah.
This is a developer, and clearly a very experienced developer, and he's sharing all of the technical challenges. And right now, he's in a battle with spammers. Right, so you can see how people can go and create instances and download Claude, many, many times over, and install this and try to basically steal money from the ad network.
Yeah, I was mistaken. Obviously, that's a faked number. I just refreshed the page. It's lower.
Yeah.
But I thought that was like
bulletin
a
is
real
interesting.
time. That would be kind of cool if it was like a real time. Like this is what you can earn per month based on the number of users we have in the system.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. It's like maybe Anthropic copies him, maybe they sue him, maybe they acquire it. Like, maybe XAI buys all the inventory in the entire network for the next year to compete. Who knows? But so fun to see creativity with an idea, execution goes out the door, and within a few hours, it's just super viral.
Unbelievable.
I share with my
any of
team.
these? Yeah, Jordan, like have you tried buying any of this ad inventory?
No, because our audience doesn't use Claude Code.
Yeah.
Right, like, an SMB.
This might actually be
should.
good for Transistor. I should try this.
See?
It could be good for building this pro.
I love it. I think he's on a 30 million ARR run rate after one day. He made like, whatever, 80 or 100 grand the first day, multiplied by 365. So he's like joking about it. But very cool. So yeah, what's the handle? Andrew McCallop.
Yeah.
Andrew McCalip.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go check it out and follow him. It's really fun to watch.
That is fascinating.
Yep,
So
very cool.
great.
All right. So I don't know. That sounds better than our businesses.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that idea. I mean, that's like kind of the classic flash in the pan,
just cool.
indie business. But that sounds good.
All right. Well, it's Friday afternoon. It is 78 degrees and sunny in the North Shore of Chicago. I took my kid up to an appointment a few towns over. The whole North Shore is just rocking right now. Beautiful. hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm going to go send my kids allowances on Apple Pay because we started that this summer.
Wow.
That's weird. You guys do allowances?
Not anymore. They're too old
They're
now.
old. They got their own problems.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a very cool transition. All of the parents of our friends got together, so all of their friends are all getting the same allowance all at once.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Oh, wow.
And
I mean, this is communism, but it's brilliant.
no, look, here's what it did. It's such a trip. It went through like this very interesting psychological cascade. First, it was, oh damn, I got $100 for the week. That's awesome. And then it went into, $100 divided by 7. I'm like, oh, I can't even go to Starbucks every day. I don't have any money. Oh my God, this isn't enough money. And then it hops over to, wait, so if I don't spend all of it, do I get another $100 next week, and then I could save and buy a shirt that I want? Right. So it's just like, and then it cascades into, Mom, Dad, can all of us come over for dinner because we want to save money? And then, of course, right next to that is, now you realize that every time we feed you and your friends, it costs money. So, like, within 1 week, just instead of saying, text me when you need money, and being online at Starbucks and saying, send me $10, to just moving over, here's your money for the week. Now figure out how to budget yourself.
I love it.
All these effects within like 1 week. Amazing, actually.
Yeah, my daughter just graduated today. She's entering middle school next year, so I think that's on the docket as she gets into that age. You know,
I think I think price fixing for the win needs to be the episode title.
Nailed it. I got one.
SpaceX socialists. There we go.
SpaceX socialists.
Great stuff. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah,
pleasure
thanks
hosting.
Everybody.
Just Brian.
Later, folks.
Bye.